Torchlight 2 takes off from where Torchlight 1 ended. Several years have passed, and the Alchemist, one of the classes in the first game, has apparently become obsessed with the dangers of Ember. You, a new hero, are tasked with following the Alchemist's path through the entire world, following his destruction and dealing with the chaos caused by his actions. I just want to make a point straight away that I don't think the story is the main focus of this game, despite it being an RPG. I honestly feel that Torchlight 2, its strengths are really in its mechanics and the way it plays. The story is good. The story is nowhere near, of awful quality. It's really good writing, but I don't think as much focus is put on it as other aspects of the game. So what mechanics am I actually talking about here? Well, for starters, the whole pet mechanic is really neat, and I really feel that Runic have timed it up in Torchlight 2. So let me explain the pet mechanic. Basically, you can choose a pet that will always accompany you on your journeys. In Torchlight 1, you could send him back to the town to buy potions and scrolls for you and save you having to go all the way back, which was really handy in Torchlight 1 because you would have had to just keep trudging backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards. In Torchlight 2, there's a few more towns spotted all over the place because the game is just generally longer. But the upside is you can now send your pet to town to sell your items. And this is really good because you'll find that in Torchlight 2 you tend to actually accumulate items a lot quicker than you did in the first one. So having the ability to send your pet back with items to sell for gold is really good. The downside of that being that your pet actually can't do anything in that meantime. The further away you are from the town, the longer it actually takes for your pet to go back. So if you're really far out and you want to send your pet back, it could take a good 5 minutes for him to return. And while it's taking that time, you are just not going to have your pet's combat capabilities or anything of the sort. I really like the fact that they've just improved the animation quality on the original game. I mean, the original game had really good animations, but these ones that they put into Torchlight 2, there's no jankiness whatsoever, there's no stuttering whatsoever. And the spell quality, the visual quality of the spells is really good. They feel like they've got a really nice impact and a nice hit to them. And one example of this would be the engineer's ground smash that he can do with his hammer. It feels so powerful when you hit the ground. You get this, this amazing shudder on the screen and this booming sound effect that comes through. It helps you draw yourself into the game's universe. The absolute amazing range of items also makes a return in Torchlight 2. In total, there's about 80% more items in Torchlight 2 than there was in Torchlight 1, and if you've ever played Torchlight 1, you will know there is a lot of items. This is just items as in specific items with names. This doesn't actually mean items with changing stats. You can have two items that are technically the same with different stats. It's actually really crazy how much you can customize your character. If you want to be an Ember Mage, with two swords who just hacks people to death, do you know what? Go for it. You can do that. You can customize your character in that way. And in all fairness, it's actually really nice to be able to sort of make your own challenges, because I really enjoyed playing the engineer, but playing the engineer as a spell casting engineer, it was actually really crazy. Obviously I still had my same spells and things, but I went for gear that had spell power to increase my spell damage, rather than actually just attacking from a melee standpoint. And I actually found that really fun. It was nice that it fit my own playstyle as well. I would like to touch on the music in the game. When I play, I often just put the music up and keep the sounds relatively low. I have to say, the soundtrack is absolutely amazing. I think the composer is Matt Ullman. And he did the music for the original one. However, in this one there's about 60-ish musical tracks compared to around 15 in the original. There's so much more, and it's really nice to have all these unique areas with different soundtracks. The fact that there's a day and night cycle in the game also means that the musical tracks change at day and night, so it doesn't get it doesn't get boring at all, to be honest, because the music keeps changing, it keeps flowing. It's actually really well paced with the gameplay as well. That's one of the things that I actually appreciate the most, actually, in Torchlight 2, the fact that a lot of care has been put into things that aren't necessarily obvious to the player. A lot of people I know don't actually play with sound on and things like that, or just don't play with music on because, you know, it's if you've got the same music tracks in games, it gets pretty boring, and a lot of people don't like to listen to that. You don't have that problem with Torchlight 2. It's so nice to listen to. It's an absolute dream. What still baffles me is the fact that you can have an amazing game like this at a $20 price point. It really sort of puts the rest of the industry to shame, because you can have an absolutely amazing game on a pretty good budget for people to just try it out and things like that. I mean, compared to Diablo 3, from a price point of view, this game is absolutely phenomenal, and I wouldn't choose anything else. Thanks for watching, guys. If you've got any suggestions on what I should maybe review next, please leave them in the comments. If you like the videos and would like to see more in the future, please subscribe and like, and I will see you next time.